Let's start our healthy fig bars by mixing all of our dry ingredients in a bowl. 1.5 cups of flour swap, 1/2 cup of granular sugar swap, 1/2 teaspoon of fine salt, about a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom, and about a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And we'll mix this until all those dry ingredients are well incorporated. Now we'll add our wet ingredients. We've got 1 egg swap. We want to make sure we mix our egg swap with very hot water. There's 6 tablespoons of butter swap. Remember, your butter swap should be well stirred and at room temperature. And I always love big, bold flavors. So we've got about a scant teaspoon or tablespoon of vanilla extract. Let's do about a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. Almonds and figs go so good together. Now we'll mix our wet and dry ingredients until we have a nice thick dough. So we want it thicker than crumbly, but we don't want it too doughy. So we might have to add a little more fluid, some hot water, but we'll see here. Okay, I didn't have to add any extra fluid. Once I started to get in here with clean hands, we've got the perfect dough consistency, and we'll be able to make our big giant triangles and spread out our jam. See, it's nice and moist. You can see my whole grain swap dough is going to be stickier than the more crumbly, thick, grain-free. Now, after your dough has rested for about 5 minutes, go ahead and give it another quick little knead with your hands. All the moisture should be now absorbed. And we're going to split our dough into 2 equal pieces. We've got parchment paper here to make our lives so much easier as we make our fig bars. Got my 2 equal balls of dough, and we'll start pressing them out to make our bars. So I've pressed my dough into a big rectangle. It's about 12 inches by about 4 inches. So I've got about 1 cup of fresh fig jam. And now this is still hot. I just pulled it off the stove, and I'm going to smear it onto 1/2 of the side of the rectangle. So I've got about 1/2 cup of jam running along the edge of both of my rectangles. This is where your parchment's really going to come in handy, because we're just going to use it to fold that in half. And remember, this is the grain-free flour, so we're always going to have to kind of reform it a little bit. They'll be fine when they bake. Now cut each of your 2 logs into 8 equal pieces. And we'll put them on our baking sheet, throw them in the oven. And I'm spacing these out so they have room to breathe in the oven. And these are the grain-free bars, so they're going to bake at 325 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes until they get nice and golden brown around the edges. And you can see the whole grain dough in this particular dessert is going to be a lot easier to work with. I'm going to press my rectangles out about 12 inches by 4 inches. And this is definitely more sticky, so I might need to actually dip my hands in a little water or use a little olive oil to prevent them from sticking. And I'll put about a 1/2 cup of jam on each side of our whole grain fig bars, where the whole grain is going to have a few extra slowly digesting healthy carbs, lots of good fiber made out of oat groats and buckwheat and whole psyllium husk for that added soluble fiber. And again, I'm just kind of reshaping these with my hands, and we'll slice and bake. Our whole grain bars are going to bake at 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes until they turn nice and golden brown. Here's my whole grain bars. They're ready to go in the oven, 350 for 15 to 20 minutes. Got our grain-free fig bars. They baked at 325 for about 18 minutes, and they were perfect. And then our whole grain baked at 350 for about 16 minutes, and they were just absolutely perfect.